Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Monday. We are starting the series of the little things that I will be pressing throughout the week, things that I talked about on the SAS on this past Sunday. And today we're going to be doing the bucket tote bags from RREM distributors. So what you're going to need for this project is you're going to need one of the bucket totes. You're going to need a piece of cardboard. You're going to need your sticky lint roller. You're also going to need some blowout paper, and you're going to need your design. We're going to talk about some things that I feel are necessary to talk about in this bag. And as you can see on the main screen over here, you can see how this has this, what I call a butt flap. And I use that as a kind of crazy term, but it is what it is, right? So you see how it's got this pocket? I want you guys to think about this as if it were the neoprene lunch totes. It has a lot of bulk in here. Even if you were to pull this out, it creates this weird divot in here and it makes things a little bit crazy. So what I want you to do is fold this in half right at the seams, fold it down. We're going to sticky lint roll all parts of this. Why? Because, well, there's little blue fibers that can happen everywhere. So let's get this sticky lint roller up and running. You want to go all the way around it. We are going to give it a good solid pre-press. You're going to see me do something too real quick. We got this all lint rolled. I want you to open this flap. I also want you to sticky lint roll inside the flap because this will also be in the heat press, right? And we don't want to have any issues. So you want to definitely make sure you sticky lint roll this. Even if it does come in a plastic bag, you still want to lint roll it. You don't know where it was prior to it going into that bag. All right, so right now I have my time and my temp at 375 for 65. Don't worry about the handle. It is fabric. We're just going to give it a good solid pre-press. I do want to up my temperature to 385 for 65. This is a great time to check your pressure. So I want a nice firm pressure on this. I'm going to do some pre-press. I'm going to flip it over, do some pre-press before we even get it into with the cardboard. And I'll show you that little trick in a second. Make sure it's nice and flat because I will do both sides. We're going to do the cardboard method, if you will, for this, just like we do with the neoprene totes, because of what I call that butt end. It's where all the bulk is, right? Should be thick there with a couple C's. All right, so we've got that pre-pressed. Now, what I want you to do, again, before you do all the things, you have your cardboard template here. Now, for me, I'm okay with it having all of this stuff. If you are doing these, I would use some fresh cardboard and know that this is for your totes like these. Because this typically goes inside a black neoprene tote, I could care less if there's off-gassing. But I will say you're going to want to use the same size. I had this available. I'm going to use it. But if you want and you're afraid that this is going to off-gas onto your inside of your thing here, well, you can go in and get some fresh cardboard. We're going to go inside with this. We're going to change our pressure again just because of the cardboard, but I wanted it to get nice and flat. Now, again, you're going to want to take the cardboard and go into this top flap here, not this bottom one, this top one. You want to create a nice rigid area, and this does the trick. Are you going to want to do full bleed with these? Absolutely not. Just because of how thick these are, you're going to end up with wrinkles and crinkles. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to actually go, let me cut my paper here, because as much as I would like to be able to use what I want to use, we're just going to trim it up. Put that there. That'll be my top paper. So I'm going to have it go this way. All right. Actually, nope, butt end. Sorry. My bad. Butt end in. This is the thinner part. I have a clamshell. Clamshell users, remember, your thinnest part is inside here. Your butt end is here. The reason being is because this touches down first before this. And there's a lot of bulk here. Not as much with a neoprene tote, but the bucket totes from RREM are definitely all fabric, not neoprene. And I still have a lot of thickness here. So what we're going to do is we're going to check our pressure, see where we're at with this, cover it with some butcher paper. We like to protect our investments. You know what? I want a bigger piece of butcher paper. This is like dealing with a white, you know, even though it's cream, it still has a white look to it. And well, we don't want that. Okay. So that is too much pressure. I'm going to lower it to where I feel it perfect. So I have the cardboard in there. I know where my pressure is before I put the design on it. All right, we have that. Now what we're going to want to do is set that aside and get our image. You're going to want to measure from, there's a seam up at the top. You could go from seam down to seam. Just remember, this is the bottom part of the bucket. So we're going to go in and get my design. You can find these at RREM distributors. The link is attached to this video. So I have my design. You're going to ask me, what is the size of your design, Nikki? Great question. Glad you asked. So this design space that I am using is just south of 8 inches. So it's roughly about 7 3/4 in height is what I'm using for this bucket. The width, you could go as wide as the bucket, but you want to go proportionate. So I'm going to line this up near the top. We're going to make sure she's centered. I'm going to have firm pressure on this because, again, of all this bulk that's at the bottom. Okay. You will see me do a series of lives all week long, every day at lunchtime for the things that we talked about over this past month or this past Sunday. While I am doing an Easter design, these make great buckets, bucket totes for flower girls and ring bearers. They also make great gift basket type buckets that you can personalize for baby showers, for weddings, for all the things, because it comes plain. You can dress it up, dress it down, make it rustic, make it boho. You can do whatever you want with it. Really, the canvas is yours. All right. So now that I've got this where I want it, we're going to drop it. And you know what? I really want to give it, I tightened it down just a little bit. I want to see how this goes. Now, why am I going to do both sides? Well, we want to see what happens when we do both sides. And there's also a little trick. You want to take your cardboard out. You want to slide it into that bottom flap, flip it over, and we're going to keep going. Because again, we're going to treat it just like we've done our neoprene totes because of that, what I call the butt end of the fabric. Again, you're not going to want to necessarily do a full bleed on them because, well, you're going to have those dreaded seam lines, and we don't want that in our look. This is basically great for names, monograms, what I call spot designs, if you will. They are a very soft linen bucket. If you want to make them a little more rigid, cut yourself some cardboard the size of the bottom of the tote, right? Let's open this one while this is baking off in 17 seconds. So it comes in these bags. What you're going to want to do is cut yourself a circle to go on the bottom. You can add fabric over the top of it to make it nice. If it's like a cardstock or a thick, you would have to do a thick cardstock, but you could use cardboard, cover it with fabric, and now it becomes the base of your bucket. And it makes things a little bit more sturdy. Now, I'm going to peek under the hood because, well, that's what we do. Ooh, that was hot. Okay. So we are all in. We've invested. All right, so it's a nice firm pressure, 385 for 65, firm pressure, not squish the heck out of me pressure, but definitely a firm pressure. As you can see right in here, we have a gorgeous image. She subbed beautifully. Now what I want to do is, try not to burn my hands, slide this out, flip her over, slide it into this top half, because right now it's in this bottom one, right? We want to slide this out. Whew, she'd be toasty. You know, gloves would probably be a good thing right about now. That is warm, girl. And of course, I never know where my gloves are when I need them. Okay. Come in here, take this, slide this into this. And now it's in the top part. So we've taken it out of this bottom flap, moved it up onto this one. I'm going to squish this down the best I can. This is adding the rigidity that we need. We're going to protect our investment. We have butcher paper at the bottom because this will off gas. from the heat. Now we're going to put a different image on this one. And this way, I just did a monogram. So I have a monogram on one side, I have a design on the other. You're really going to do it however you want at the end of the day. Okay. And we're going to drop it down. Now, I didn't tape it. Do you have to tape it? No, you don't have to necessarily tape any of your fabric stuff. It is up to you. Here are some things that can happen if you don't tape it. Now, I've been doing this a long time, and do I make mess ups? Absolutely, 100%. I do. But if you know your time, temp, and pressure basically, when you go to open this, that paper is going to fly up, right? And you got to know your press. You got to know how to do this. Fly up, it can come back down, touch your fabric, and give you some off-gassing, right? And that's where that shadowing comes. So you want to tape it down until you really get comfortable. Now, do I get complacent sometimes like I did just now? I did, because it's just something out of habit. I do a ton of pillowcases. I just know. And that comes with an experience. Do I still make mistakes every now and then? Yes, because my pressure wasn't correct and it pops up, or I didn't open it up slowly, right? I just popped it open. Yes. So do I, as somebody who's been doing this a long time, can make mistakes on this? Absolutely, I can. But again, there are certain things you'll see me not tape just because it's how I do things, and I forget to sometimes when I'm showing you newbies. So I'm going to open this up slowly. Pull her off, and we are good. We have liftoff. Little fuzzy on there. Get that fuzzy off. All right. Look at that. Isn't she gorgeous? These sub beautifully. Like, these are totally just on point. Let me flip this over. Whew, she hot. Good gravy. Okay. So absolutely gorgeous subbing job done. The colors are vibrant. Is exactly what you need in a sub linen type fabric. So again, you want to make sure you put your butcher paper on the bottom. You're going to want to lint roll all the sides to include the inside flap here. You're going to want a piece of cardboard to make a template for the inside of this. When you are pressing it, you want to check your pressure prior to adding your image. Don't be doing this while you're trying your images on top of it. Do it beforehand. Take your cardboard, slide it into the flap that you're going to be using. So for this case, it was this side. Slide it into this top flap. So you're going to pre-press it once, get a nice firm pressure on both sides. You're going to go in. You're going to add your cardboard. You're going to then recheck your pressure, right? Because now you've got it in the position you want it in. And you're going to say, Nikki, why did we pre-press it prior? Because I wanted some nice crisp edges before I put my cardboard in. And then this way it flattened it all out. So I knew how far I could pretty much shove this cardboard piece in. Now, does it have to go all the way to the edge? No, it does not, because we're going to do spot designs on these, right? Names, spot designs. Your average size of this is going to be probably no more than 7 3/4 on the height of this. Your width is going to be completely up to you, proportional based on your stuff. Okay. Now you've done this side. You want to flip it over and do the back. If you're going to do the back, you're going to take this out. You're going to slide it into this top one. So now your cardboard's in this top flap versus this bottom one. If you're a clamshell user, you want to stick the thinner side or the top of the tote in first. You want to put this butt end in the back. Why do we do that? Because your heat platen on a clamshell stops back here, starts here, and ends here. There is a pressure issue when that happens because of the angle of your press. So there you go. That's how you make these adorable tote bags, buckets, if you will. They're like a tote bag bucket because of the material from RREM distributors. Go order yours today. Get these. They can be used for a variety of things, whether it's Halloween, trick-or-treat bags, Easter. Maybe you want to use them as bridal shower gifts. Maybe you want to use them as baby shower gifts. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Go get yours today. And until next time, I'll see you all real soon on the flip side.